What's up guys, Jivan back with another video, and today I'm going to be telling you everything I've learned about chrome splashes so far. We'll be getting into some unique phase tricks that I don't think you've ever seen before. Ways to use chrome splash in fighting, ways to use it in endgame, all sorts of stuff. Before we get into it, please consider using code JivanTV in the Fortnite item shop, and without further ado, let's hop into it. The first thing I want to show you guys is something I just discovered literally 5 minutes ago. I went into Battle Labs and started playing around with the chrome splash, and I found a couple phasing techniques. The first one is very basic, and I think a lot of you may already know it, but you can jump out of a chrome blob through a floor and just get into somebody's box from below. You're just in the blob, you go all the way up against the floor, and you press the jump out of blob button right as you're pressed up against the floor, and you'll just fly through it. Now we all know you can walk through somebody's chrome wall, but if you're in blob form and you place a ramp behind you, you can jump just like you're doing a ramp phase where you break the ramp and jump into somebody's box. If you jump out of blob form right as you're at the top of the ramp, you will not only fly into the enemy's box, but you will fly to the back of it so you can get right behind them and max pump them. This is a crazy technique that I just stumbled upon while in Battle Labs right now. That's probably one of the most useful fighting tricks I've seen with chrome splashes so far. But another good one for fighting is you can use the movement of the chrome splash to flank the enemy so fast, or change layers super fast. The way I've been using it is you use the double jump and then jump out of the blob form. This will be like a triple jump, so you can get up basically 2 layers in a fight, like 3 times as fast. I saw somebody on TikTok do this and just full box the enemy, and it was a crazy clip. This is the closest thing I have so far. I double jumped up, jumped out of blob form, and almost got him pieced. And I finished the fight later. But like I said, you can also use it not just to get up layers, but to kind of flank around the enemy. So in this clip, you see I'm like double jumping around him, and then I jump out of blob form and just fly behind him. It's really hard to track somebody while they're in the blob form, especially when they're moving this fast, so you can get behind somebody super quick and surprise them. I did it several times the other day. But this specific movement trick is not just good for fighting. It's also good for movement and rotations. It's important to get this double jump technique down and get really good control over it so that you know exactly where you're going to end up. I'll get into more details with that when we get into the endgame tricks part of this video. Another good thing to know about chrome while in fighting is that let's say the enemy owns all the walls around you, or just one wall. If you throw the chrome down, they're no longer able to edit that wall. So if you're in a bad position and the enemy's not inside your box, you can throw a chrome down and you'll all of a sudden be protected again. And they might even try to phase into your box after you throw the chrome down, and then you can just body them when they do that because they're going to be super exposed. I got that tip from a guy named Dollar Store Jivan, so you could say I kind of got it from the dollar store. It's a good tip though. The dollar store comes in clutch sometimes, you know what I mean? Similar to that tip, you can also use it to disengage. Let's say somebody's pressuring you really hard. You throw chrome down and go into blob form, quickly phase out the back of your box just like I do here, and then just like disengage through the builds. It's hard to track somebody when they're in blob form. Plus you move faster so you can create distance, make some boxes, and get some heals off. We've all been here where we get a kill on the enemy, we have their downed body in our box, but wait, it's not our box. You're surrounded by enemy builds and their teammate is coming to get you. Let's say you're in that situation, you're just surrounded by enemy builds. If you throw a chrome splash down, they can no longer edit on you. All they can do is phase in on you. So by throwing chrome down after you get a kill, it kind of protects your angles a little bit. Only thing you'll have to be aware of is that they might try to phase into the box, but at least they won't be able to set up right-hand peeks on you from outside the box. Another good thing that you can do with mid-game fighting is what I do here. You can see the enemies are playing in their boxes, and they have a lot of boxes built. So I went into blob form and phased into a part of their box that I know they're not in, and surprised them from behind while they were focused on my teammate. That could be a sneaky way to use phasing. You just gotta be careful that you're not slow phasing directly into their box. Like, don't walk through their chrome wall straight into their face or they're gonna body you. Those are some of the specific tricks for fighting, but there's also some more stuff that you can use chrome for in the mid game. These are some miscellaneous tips for you, and then we'll get into end game stuff. First off, it's good to know that chrome splash heals you for white. Only a little bit, but it's good to note. You can also re-farm chrome splashes. If there's no chrome spots around you, just throw one of your chrome splashes down and start farming items around you. Specifically like trees, beds, chairs, all that stuff gives you chrome splashes, but I haven't really gotten chrome splashes from walls yet, so keep that in mind. And if you want to get more bang for your buck from your chrome splashes, you can shoot trees with like an SMG, something that does really light amount of damage per bullet, and you'll get get a larger amount of chrome splashes at a faster rate. But if you need mats anyway, you might as well just throw a chrome splash down and farm with your pickaxe, because then you get mats and you also get a chrome splash refresh. Another important thing to note is that visual audio of the chrome blobs goes way further than footsteps. So if you're trying to do like a sneaky rotate past somebody, it's probably better to go by foot because Chrome Splash is going to notify them. This is especially important to note for endgames and tournaments because I was playing scrims the other day and I could see people blob rotating from so far away and I would just shoot them out of the blob. So I told Ken that sometimes we need to go by foot instead so that we don't get spotted. The last miscellaneous tip is that Chrome Splashing actually protects you from fall damage. Now listen, you can't just Chrome Splash and jump off in person form, but there's two ways it does protect you. First off, if you're in blob form and you jump off, yeah, you won't take any fall damage. But also, you can be in blob form and jump out of it and you won't take fall damage. 100% good to know. If you get chopped in a fight, use your Chrome Splash, it'll save your life. With all that being said, let's hop into these endgame tips because this is going to help you so much in the Placement Cup this weekend. The first important tip is that if you're ever getting lobby focused, switch to your metal and throw a Chrome Splash down. This will instantly build all of your walls to max HP and it'll be even stronger than a normal fully built metal wall. So this is a great way to back people off that are lobby focusing you. Chances are they'll keep spraying at you, but it'll slow them down enough so that you can make more space, throw down some more Chrome Splashes, and get like a nice base going, and get your heals off too. Obviously, while you're in blob form, you rotate faster than by foot, so you can throw one down in moving zones and just jump out of your box and go to rotating. It's going to be tough to get these rotates down. It's not as easy as it sounds. You need to really master the movement techniques of how to use the blob, because this is one example. I was playing scrims the other day and I was trying to dash up a layer and I accidentally dashed into somebody's box and died. So I made sure to note that in the next game, when I'm trying to switch layers, you got to look fully straight upwards and then dash and jump out of your blob form. That's how you switch layers in blobs. You really got to get this down. So the biggest things with blob rotates in endgame is you got to get good at breaking line of sight so that people that are in the safe zone can't shoot you. Like if you get behind enemy builds, you're going to be a lot safer than rotating in the open in blob form. And you got to get really good at switching layers like I just said. While I was playing scrims the other day, I was always telling Ken to carry the Chrome Splash. That way I could have boogie bombs, snipers, or harpoon because I'm the fragger and the IGL should have the Chrome Splash because he's going to be the one that's looking at the rotates and I'm the one that's looking for kills. So me having boogie bombs, that's a lot more valuable than me having Chrome Splash. One thing that kept messing me up in endgame, like I boogie bombed somebody and then I tried to sprint over to him, but I was chromed. So when I sprinted, I went into blob form instead. I don't know about you guys, but I'm gonna have to really get used to that aspect where when I'm blobbed, I can't sprint. Something crazy smart that someone did to us in scrims the other day is they were about to rotate on one of our sides and they figured we were going to try to open up and shoot at them, so they threw a blob at that side and I couldn't edit that wall and look at them. So if you're ever rotating past somebody and you don't want them to edit on you, just do exactly that. And then a similar thing is that Chrome is going to be very useful in endgames. There's going to be a lot of ways to use it, so I'm just going to say a couple hypotheticals because I don't actually have clips for them yet. First off, if zone is ever on your back in the late moving zones and you are chromed out, you can turn into a blob and just jump through walls so that you don't die to storm. Let's say that there's people behind you in your rotates, they have storm pressing into their back. If you throw chrome at them, they're gonna be kind of like stuck behind chrome walls. And they'll have two choices, to either break that wall and replace it or go through it. And if they go through it, you can just pre-fire them when they do that. So this will make getting kills on back edge of zone probably a lot easier. If you ever need to rotate past somebody, it's really tight quarters in endgame, and you have really nowhere to go, just throw a Chrome Splash at somebody's wall and you'll be able to go past them. Like, they aren't going to be able to edit on you. There's so many ways to use Chrome Splash in endgame, and the biggest challenge is probably going to be 1, identifying the situations where it's useful, 2, getting the movement of it down, getting the actual mechanics of it down, and 3, countering other people that are using it. It's going to be really interesting. It really switched up the meta a lot. Like, it's created such a unique feel in endgames. Yeah, it has some flaws, like it's really loud in endgames now, but I'm excited for this switch up. It is so unique. Now, just the other day, I made a video on my second channel talking about advice to really prepare for the Placement Cup coming up. If you guys want to check out that video, it's on your screen right now. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.